Welcome everyone. This presentation will cover the most basic commands that you need to know in order to navigate through the ESM Linux operating system. Remember that the main tool at the disposal of the administrator for the ESM machine are not only the ArcSight console and command center, but the Linux environment which it is installed on as well. I'm assuming that you already know how to connect to ESM either directly or via an SSH client such as PuTTY. The first part of the presentation, I'll give you a brief summary of the commands and what they do, while in the second part, we'll dive deeper into practical examples. Now let's begin by covering the basic commands for navigation of the Linux OS. The first one being cd, which stands for change directory. It's used to change directories within Linux. Example cd/opt/arcsite. This makes the current system enter the subdirectory of opt, which is arcsite. To get out of a current directory into a higher one, use cd space and two dots. The ls, dir, and ll commands can all be used to list directories and files in the current directory where you're in. If you need any additional information about all the options that you might have for a command, please use the command plus --help and the system will list them for you. This is very useful when you're trying to see all the options, when you're trying to list all the options for a particular command in Linux, and you're trying to do it live on the system itself. You don't have to search online. pwd is a short for print working directory. This command will show you the current directory path that you're in. Example pwd. Clear, this command will clear all output in the terminal if it's cluttered with too much unnecessary information. History, the command will show you all the all the past commands that were executed for a particular user in the system. You might have forgotten some sort of a command that you previously used, and with history you can check all the commands that were used, which is very useful in this case. Locate, this will display the directory of a file that you might be looking for. It works extremely quickly on a Linux environment. Now I've had some issues with the installation previously with the locate command. If it's not already on your system, you might have to check. But to install it, use the command sudo yum install mlocate. And if the following error comes up in your terminal, you can use the command update db, and it should work. It should work. The free command is used to display the RAM of the device. Example free-h, where -h is for human readable format and displays the RAM in gigabytes. Keep in mind if you don't type in -h at the end of free, it will display the information in kilobytes, which might not be something you want. You can also display it in megabytes. I'm going to show it in the practical examples section. The df-h command displays a detailed report of disk usage space. This is very useful when you're trying to see how much space each directory occupies in memory. The du command displays the current size of a directory. You have to make sure that it is as specific as possible, because otherwise if the directory has many subdirectories in it and many files in it, it will basically display the sizes. It will list all the sizes of each one of those. So it will be very verbose, which you might not want to. The du command is used for specific subdirectories or only. Okay, so the ps command displays the current processes running on the Linux machine. So if some process is stuck, you might be able to see it. The top command summary information about the system and shows the active Linux processes. It also displays the RAM of the machine, free, used, and available, plus cache. It displays it in kilobytes though. And to exit the top command, just press the Q button. For IP configuration, we use the ifconfig command, which displays the status of the currently configured network interfaces, stands for interface configuration. It will display the IP address, the MAC address, etc. If you want to see the host name of the machine, just type in host name and it'll output it on the terminal right away. If you're trying to check if packets can be transmitted via the network to a specific host, you just use the ping command, and it would output you back to the results. It will if there's some sort of an issue within the network, you'll be able to see it because the packets won't be transmitted, or there might be some sort of a delay. You'll be able to see it through the ping command. For manipulation of files, we have the vi editor, which you can see the contents of a file. If it's, for example, a text file or a log file, you type in vi with the file name and you'll be able to see it. To exit, you type in colon Q exclamation mark if you don't want to save anything. If you've modified it accidentally and you don't want to save anything, just use colon Q exclamation mark. If, however, you want to modify the file, just use a W. So it will be colon WQ exclamation mark, which is W stands for write. Okay, so the next command that we're going to explore is the touch command. Creates an empty file or changes the timestamps of an existing file. Touch file 1. This will create file 1 if it does not exist. If it does exist, it will just modify the timestamp. So if it's 2 o'clock and you modify and you touch again on 6 o'clock, the timestamp will show when you list it with LL, it will show 6 o'clock. Example, touch file 1 and touch file 2. If you can queue up multiple files to be created that way, you have to separate them with spaces. So you have to keep in mind, you can create multiple files that way. The rm command is short for remove. It will remove any file you have set. It will remove directories as well. So if you, however, want to delete everything in the directory, you have to use the -r after rm command in order for it to work. And the Linux environment will ask you if you really want to delete everything in that subdirectory. CP is short for copy, and will copy any file you set, CP file 1 into file 2. This will copy the contents of file 1 into file 2. And for directories, you have to type in CP -r, which is first and second. mkdir is short for make directory. This will create a directory basically for you. And chown is short for change owner. This will change the owner of a file. For example, if we have two users on the system, root and arcsite, in this example that I've given, if you assume that the file 1 has owner root, and we want to change it to arcsite, we type in the command chown arcsite file 1. And to see the owner type, just type in ls-l, and you'll be able to see it on the third column. So that concludes the first part of the presentation. Thank you all for watching. Now let's go to the practical examples.